Now, I highly doubt that you'll have noticed Broadcom's brand fluttering above shopfronts and billboards when roaming the high street, be that in Asia, Europe, or the Americas. However, that isn't to ever suggest that Broadcom is a fictional entity. Quite the opposite, actually. In fact, Broadcom's technology sits in every technological device you'll have used in the last 24 hours. Laptops, mobile phones, home applications, vehicles, wherever and whenever you see a computing device doing its magic, it's likely that it's running with the help of technology designed by Broadcom. So, what is that ubiquitous and omnipresent technology that makes Broadcom so ever-present yet so hidden? Good question. This handy piece of technology we're referring to is none other than the humble yet powerful semiconductor. Humble in that it hardly makes itself known or noticed, but powerful since none of our electronic devices that we rely on today would exist without it. In business terms, Broadcom would be known as a fabless company. If you ever looked it up in a business directory, effectively this means that whilst Broadcom designs the semiconductors, the manufacturing takes place in specialized factories dotted across Taiwan and China. So, what are semiconductors anyway, and what makes them so singularly special? In appearance, semiconductors are hardly noticeable, as they're nothing more than clumps of silicon threaded inside computer chips, microprocessors, or transistors. Often, semiconducting devices like microprocessors are simply blanketed amongst a spiderweb of interconnected wires and devices. If you were to remove your computer's processor, you would typically see a small square at the center with a black or silver coating and thin as hair straight lines stemming off it. Hiding beneath this tile would be the respective device's semiconductor. If you opened it further to try and have a glimpse, you would find a set of minuscule engravings made of a semiconducting material. And without the minuscule engravings known as the semiconductor, the processor, or any device for that matter, would simply become unworkable. Digging deeper into the science, a semiconductor is best defined as any substance that conducts electricity better than an electrical insulator, i.e. a non-metal compound, but not to the scale of an electrical conductor like a metallic compound. Due to its variable electrical conducting capacity, it becomes a useful material to build electronic devices with. The reason for that is because a semiconductor that allows some currents through but not others enables better control of the flow of its electrical currents. This helps an electronic device achieve a specific set of outcomes depending on the particular device in question. For this part, it may help to have a periodic table beside you, but materials that qualify as semiconductors include arsenic, boron, carbon, germanium, selenium, sulfur, a bunch of other ions, and finally the best and most ubiquitous material is what we previously mentioned, namely silicon. It is the popularity of silicon as a semiconductor from which the names of technology parks like Silicon Valley owe themselves to. So, there we have it, the tiny yet terrifyingly powerful semiconductor, also known as the beating heart of our electronic devices. And when you look deeper into Broadcom's products catalog, you begin to discover a common theme. That is, that Broadcom seems to have steered its technological prowess towards maximizing global connectivity. It's not for nothing that its products menu is filled with devices that help you connect to the internet, or form the bedrock of your smartphone, for example. By placing semiconductors at the heart of its products range, Broadcom was able to become a chief supplier of hardware for the industries of telecommunications, internet, and connectivity, all of which feature a multitude of devices needing connectivity equipment, and most crucially, semiconductors. Obvious to anyone also would be how the dawn of such powerful communication technologies has utterly revolutionized the face of the planet, including the way we talk, travel, shop, educate, and learn. It's no surprise, therefore, that any company that takes the lead of designing semiconductors and supplying the world with this potent slice of technology will become a formidable money-making machine. And you'd be right to assume that, since the company we're talking about today, Broadcom, matches exactly that description. So, now that we have demystified Broadcom and its spick and span product range, let's look a little deeper into the company itself. and track its gentle climb to dominance within the computing realm. Incorporated in 1991, back when semiconductors were in their early stages of development, Broadcom joined the list of companies vying for a pie of the emerging semiconductors market. Before this date, Broadcom largely existed as the semiconductors division of Hewlett-Packard, having grown under its tutelage. It wasn't until 1998 that Broadcom became public on NASDAQ, and 1999 that Broadcom became a sovereign corporation under its own right. But despite the layers of business bureaucracy, this is fairly common within the corporate arena, where brands and owners do not always align, and many of them get embroiled under layers of mergers, acquisitions, and splits. In Broadcom's case, once it was flying on its own wings, its revenues soared, largely helped by the dot-com bubble, which was similarly booming at the time. In 2005, though, its computer chip division was sold off to what became known as Avago Technologies, a Singaporean conglomerate. Nevertheless, Broadcom continued to grow through its other semiconductor devices, as did the newly formed Avago Technologies. By 2015, in a bizarre plot twist, Avago Technologies had grown large enough to buy its own parent company that it budded from. So, very soon, Avago Technologies acquired the Broadcom Corporation for a hefty price tag of $37 billion. Funnily, once Avago had swallowed Broadcom, it ended up renaming itself once again to Broadcom Limited. Yep, it becomes clear that after all that wrangling, buying, selling and merging, not only did Broadcom's business prevail, but so did its brand, making it all the more attractive to buyers like Avago Technologies. To add another layer of fascination, the company owes its birth to a teacher and student duo with the same names, Henry and Henry, at the same university, UCLA, from the same computing department, with only their different surnames and dates of birth setting them apart. Little did they know what a beast of a company their handiwork was to become. Today, Broadcom offers a range of products ranging from internet and wireless connectivity devices, cybersecurity equipment, secure payment systems, as well as ordinary hardware like hard disks, data storage devices, switches, modules, and adapters. Basically, anything in the computing realm is likely to have the footprints of Broadcom. Ever since its inception, from designing and producing semiconductors, Broadcom has come far, now offering a truly endless list of products and services that would take a degree in computing for you to truly absorb. And since technology has applications in any industry thinkable, it enjoys a foothold in multiple industries, ranging from security and renewable energies to smartphones and gaming consoles. As of 2018, its net income stood at a whopping $12.61 billion, a number which bankrolls the salaries of about 19,000 employees. Expectedly, Broadcom has scored some notable firsts in the race for technological advancement. In 2007, Broadcom became the first company to launch a combo chip for mobile phones, combining Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and FM in a single chip. In 2008, it became the first company to sell its custom-made 10 Gbps Ethernet SFP short-reach transceivers, which enhanced the functioning of networking equipment. By 2009, it had shipped over 1 billion optical mouse units, and by 2010, it made the world's first terabit Ethernet switch chip, thereby reaching revenues of over $2 billion in the same fiscal year. More recently, in 2018 and 2019 respectively, Broadcom became the first to release the 5G radio switch and the first end-to-end mobile 5G networking portfolio. And unsurprisingly, this is only the tip of the iceberg, since Broadcom's full list of pioneering achievements would fill an entire book. As a result of its successes in the past decade, Broadcom has dominated rankings as one of the world's largest fabless companies, often coming second only to US-owned Qualcomm. In fact, as suggested by their similar names, Broadcom and Qualcomm can be considered the Coca-Cola and Pepsi of semiconductor companies, as both compete ferociously in capturing the largest share of the world's fizzy semiconductors market. In 2017, however, Broadcom appeared to have a change of heart and made moves to buy off its arch-rival Qualcomm. Back then, Qualcomm was embroiled under lawsuits by Apple, which accused the former of selling it a substandard product. In the meantime, Broadcom's Harvard-educated CEO, Hock offered to buy its embattled rival for a mountainous sum of $130 billion. However, the merger quickly fell apart when the news reached the White House. There, citing national security concerns, President Trump signed an executive order blocking the purchase. In President Trump's eyes, Qualcomm was an American asset of strategic importance, which could not be handed away to a company that was foreign-owned. Perhaps Qualcomm would not exist today if Broadcom was never purchased by Avago Technologies. Nevertheless, this move to Southeast Asia did not stop Broadcom's growth curve. Immediately after President Trump's executive order, Broadcom's CEO, Hock decided to repatriate the company to its old home, the United States. As a result, its Singapore headquarters shut its doors and its USA HQ in San Jose became its global headquarters. Legally, Broadcom removed any traces of its presence in Singapore and rehoused itself in Delaware. In 2018, Broadcom announced that it had sealed a deal to purchase American technology firm Computing Associates, also known as CA Technologies, for $19 billion. A year later, a bloated Broadcom decided to grab a pie of Symantec Corporation by offering to buy its enterprise security division for $10.7 billion. Having succeeded in swallowing Symantec's enterprise security division as well as its brand, Broadcom became a whopper in the stock market. But yet again, Broadcom found itself in hot water. This time it was across the pond in Europe, where it was ordered by the EU to desist from its anti-competitive practices. While the setback was far smaller, if any at all, than that inflicted by the White House in 2017, Broadcom slowly became a poster child exhibiting what can go wrong when you grow too large and too fast. While Broadcom's success and continued spirit for growth led it to build a sprawling technology empire, still unbroken at that, the fact that governments across the Atlantic felt the need to step in and restrain it says a lot about how unstoppable a powerhouse Broadcom became. Today, the need to walk a tightrope between government regulation and business interest remains trickier than ever for any ambitious company, be it Broadcom, Huawei, or Amazon. Nevertheless, governmental meddling or not, Broadcom remains a preeminent player within the realm of technology. What's more, the growing significance of global connectivity infrastructure means it isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So, do you think the government should interfere with a company's growth story? And with the rise of the Internet of Things, how much bigger will Broadcom become? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you've enjoyed this, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing. Thank you all for watching. I will see you soon, continuing to share great business stories past and present, and whatever else happens in the business world. So thank you all, and have an excellent rest of your day.